Well, hello there. The time has come to check out one of the most requested characters in Marvel.
Surprise, universe! It's me, Deadpool, Marvel anti-hero extraordinaire. That being said, drop the beat! Deadpool, bang, babes, mayhem! Let's get it on!
And despite the character being very new comparing to everyone else we've touched, only have been invented in the 90s, he made a lot of noise having been in the mainstream for a while now, making appearances in a number of popular video games, breaking through as the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time twice, and stealing Thanos' girlfriend, which is the biggest achievement of them all. He was just always that guy that attracts people for being different, edgy, humorous, and I mean back in the early 2010s, seeing the main character break the fourth wall was very fresh, believe it or not. Regardless, today we're playing every single video game where you can beat Deadpool. Let's begin. The first video game series I'll cover was published by Activision, and it's surprisingly enough X-Men Legends 2 from 2005. Yes, we're skipping all of the regular arcade 2D games, which is so refreshing. He appears towards the end as a surprise boss hired by Mr. Sinister, but you never actually get to play as him in your first playthrough, you only unlock him once you beat the game for the first time. And what can I say, he's somewhat fun to play as. He has a set of abilities that are all either katana slashes, gun shootings, or bomb throwings. And I'll be honest, I don't feel like they pack a big punch, I won't lie, but having Deadpool on your team just feels fun for the punts. And he can serve as a nice side damager while someone else is taking the real damage like Wolverine. He also has a lot less skills than many other team members in the game, so it seems like he was added later on in the game during the late development. But still, this is the first time you can play as Deadpool in any video game ever, so it's notable. And yes, back in the day Deadpool could teleport, just like Nightcrawler. On the other hand, just a year later, the same developers released Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and we can see improvements already.
The day my father Odin banished me from Asgard, I was bitten by a vampire and had radioactive waste dumped into my eyes. To make matters worse, my mutant ability to control weather activated just as I was hit by a blast of gamma radiation.
We have dual katana basic attacks instead of kicks and punches. Instead of being slow 1 to 2 hits animations for specials, our Merc with a mouth now has a lot more room to breathe and is much more fluid. And yeah, most animations I feel like they've been reused from the previous game, but reused with a brain. And the amount of additional costumes is quite nice too, even though I modded half of them myself in. Overall, good appearance and better than X-Men Legends 2 in my opinion. And just about 3 years later, we're on to yet another sequel.
You're laughing with your eyes! I can see it! Fine! Time for a little boss battle, suckers!
Deadpool first appears as a mini-boss on a level because he's annoyed by all the chaos in the city, and once defeated he's immediately available. We once again have a dual sword basic combat, but only 4 special moves this time, those being same old dual shooting, katana slash, bomb barrage, and katana rush. All 4 moves are from past 2 games with slightly updated animations, and overall, meh, nothing too special, but the visuals are greatly improved at least, and I gotta say, his basic combat feels a lot more smoother than previous games, but other than that, nothing special. Out of 3 games, first Marvel Ultimate Alliance takes the top here. And with this, we're leaving the 2000s and moving into 2010s, and I'll be honest, Deadpool's popularity skyrocketed in this decade, and his recognition grew immensely. First sign of it was his appearance in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, even though he never appeared in this video game series before. I mean, it was made before he was created. The character uses both his guns and katanas for some great keep away and zoning, and it's quite easy to chain his attacks into specials. He teleports around quite a bit, which adds both chaos and fun to your gameplay, and overall, I won't lie, I've had fun with him. He's flashy, fast, and has a lot of quips depending on who he's fighting. And I mean, when else will you play as Deadpool in a fighting game anyways? So honestly, yeah, solid pick if you like fighting games. And as you may know, just a couple years later, Deadpool somehow manages to get his own video game already, which honestly blows my mind when I think about it on how fast that happened. Now I know this game generated a lot of dislike for the character, and I've seen videos from some of my favorite YouTubers on how this game almost ruined Deadpool. And after I finished the game myself, I can tell you one definitive thing. It's freaking great. So let's start from the top. The game is pretty simple from the looks of it. It's a third-person linear action adventure where you help Deadpool have a successful video game basically. We start with a regular day in Deadpool's life as he does things just for the sake of doing them, until he gets the script for his future video game delivered. So he decides to start acting that script, as we are basically already playing the game now, you know. The plot is filled with numerous gags and jokes that to this day, at least in my opinion, still hold up.
How much C4 is this gonna take? It's no more than 20 ounces. What? Oh, I hate the metric system. How much in American?
Let's see. Carry the 7...
Dude, fuck math. Just use all of it.
Hello?
Peter! Hey, I was just running around my game, and all of a sudden I noticed that, some shit was fucked up. What's up with that?
I warned you about the budget, Deadpool. You literally blew all the money.
Budget? What the hell, man?
Yes, you do realize that all games have budgets.
Peter, sweetheart, Bubula, let me remind you that my website got 15 million hits the weekend we announced. 1,000,001? 1,000,002? Cough it up. Phew! That's what happens when you mix C4 with a bean burrito. Now be honest. I'm not the only one with a little bit of shit in their pants right now, am I?
The gameplay itself is surprisingly fun and holds up in my opinion. At the start we have 2 katanas and 2 pistols that basically culminate in a fast-paced methodical gun fu fight, which I love, where you both cut and shoot one after the other. Once you play for a bit you unlock upgrades, with a pretty wide variety of new weapons you can unlock both from melee and guns. All of this ends up culminating in a fast-paced juggling of weapons and bullets against many different enemies that will stand in your way, as you dodge and heal through all of it. And yes, there's even a counter-attack button in here, similar to Arkham games. Deadpool's healing also happens real time depending on where you were shot as well, which I love. Throughout the game, we of course have many X-Men cameos, and the main villain is Mr. Sinister, who we have to put down for good. And the plot has a lot of surprises up its sleeve, I'm just gonna say that without spoiling. And look, I don't know about you, but I miss this type of game. And in my opinion, this is a perfect Deadpool game. I've played it a decade back, and I'm still enjoying it now. Very strong recommendation. As 2010s progressed, Deadpool started appearing as a side character in many different games that I will cover now, but pass through a bit faster. First up, we've got kid-friendly projects starting with Marvel Superhero Squad releasing in 2013, and it has a PG-13 friendly Deadpool. Aww.
Wait a minute, you're not my aunt. Ooh, huh. I'm melting! Wait, no I'm not. False alarm.
Kids played this as a socializing game from what I understand, and it's a nice way for younger audience to get to know the character with a very nonchalant play style. But it's nothing more than that, at least for me. Same year we also get LEGO Marvel Superheroes, where Deadpool is a bit more fun to play. We've got both dual pistols and dual katanas with classic Deadpool quips in between. A nice addition to LEGO Marvel, and was fun at the time. Finally, also same year, we get Marvel Heroes Omega, where we get ourselves a Diablo pool, with many skins and skills to unlock over hours and hours of Marvel style dungeons. As always, this is a good option to play as your favorite Marvel character in a Diablo style game, so if you're into this kind of gameplay, this might be a good fit for you. And the game is currently hosted on fan servers, so you can play it for free. God damn, that was like what, 4 Deadpool games in the same year? Marvel used to be wild. Moving on to 2014, we get an era of Marvel mobile games, and let's explore Mobile Pool. First up, we've got Contest of Champions. Deadpool has a classic version that is very obsolete and is considered a trophy champ, who you will not actually use in a game because he's very bad. But there is also an X-Force version of him, who is in contrast very good, and maybe one of the hardest hitting characters in the whole game. Both are very rare and hard to get, so you would probably spend a lot of money to actually play as them. Next up, Marvel Future Fight. Deadpool comes in many tastes and colors, including the latest Wolverine Deadpool movie, and is a very fast healing AoE damage dealer, who gains invincible after multiple attacks, and overall is designed to stay alive for a long time and spread damage slowly. Much better designs than Contest of Champions, but it's still a mobile game. Marvel Strike Force is up next, where we play Deadpool in a turn-based environment, and he's very good at finishing up his enemies, meaning his special attacks target opponents with least health and end them for good, as well as apply a bunch of bleeds of course. The design seems fun, but I'm pretty sure he's obsolete as heck in here as well. Moving on, one game I've never mentioned before but the comments made me do it, Marvel Puzzle Quest. I've played it for the first time this week and I think I understand how it works. You choose a team of characters, and Deadpool can be one of them with multiple costumes, and then you play Candy Crush. Yeah, basically. You match color gems on the board that damages opponents and generates energy, which can then be used to unleash special abilities of your characters. I won't lie, it's definitely not my type of game, but it's a game and it exists, so yeah. Out of his abilities, and from what I understand, he has healing and he can create strike tiles that kind of stun opponents, I suppose. There's definitely some creativity here, but I'm not sure I want to play Candy Crush, I won't lie. Final mobile game will be Marvel Snap, and you can predict how it goes if you watched my Venom or Wolverine videos. Deadpool fits the same type of deck called Destroy. You throw him in and Wolverine on board, then unleash the symbiotes like Carnage and Venom, they get eaten and get stronger. This can be repeated forever until the end of the match, and Deadpool in particular is very strong because his power doubles every time he dies and revives himself. This is my favorite type of deck in this game and I love Deadpool here. This is also the only mobile game out of today's list that I actually still enjoy from time to time. So yeah, good stuff. Now we are nearing the end of 2010s and have just a couple more games in this decade. First up, the long-awaited Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 on Nintendo Switch. And the first thing I noticed is Deadpool's design was heavily inspired from his Solo 2013 game. Normal attacks are basically a combo of guns and swords that we use as main attacks in that game. We also get the return of hammers for air attacks, which is pretty cool as well. But unfortunately, I have to say, his special attacks kinda suck in here in my opinion. In 3 out of 4 of its animations, they lock him where he stands, open to being punched, or he just sits open to being punched too. You would expect his skills making him a bit more mobile, but that's unfortunately not the case. His basic attacks though are once again very fun, and the game overall slaps in my eyes, so I can still recommend it, to a slightly lesser degree than the first game. Good old Pool also dropped by Fortnite around the same time. First skin was in Marvel Battle Pass, and the second is purchasable through the shop in a drawn style. Nothing too special, just a skin, but I gotta admit, I bit the bait and I bought it. Still, looks cool. Finally, last game of the decade was Marvel Powers United VR, a multiplayer game that was already shut down. You can do a kick, use katanas, and your dual pistols to dispose of enemies. This was mainly a multiplayer game, so there is no proper story or anything, so makes sense why it did not live long. Alright, we're finally getting the good stuff now. Once again, Marvel's Midnight Suns, releasing in this current decade, a turn-based game that I somehow really fell in love with. Deadpool is a DLC character with his own story and complete set of abilities. He is all about building up a special passive called Enfuego, which basically improves every single ability he has, and the more kills and damage he causes, the more Enfuego grows, that boosts him even further. His main attacks are predictable but still cool looking in my opinion. He has the quick pistol shots to dispose of smaller goons, multiple nice AoE attacks including grenade throws to spread the love, headshot attacks for increased damage at single targets, and my favorite, which is team-up attacks that look cool with Wolverine in particular. There are multiple skins the characters can use and lots of recolors for each one, so you can have your own special Deadpool. And finally, the actual story is all about Deadpool joining the crew to deal with the vampire outbreak, which is not exactly his best fit, but it still works in my mind. Overall, he's a fun addition, but I have to say, in the beginning, Wade feels kinda weak in my opinion. I never placed him on the team during the first playthrough because he just always died very quickly. So he needs a lot of level ups and upgraded cards to truly shine in battle, in my eyes. Alright, finally we have the latest Deadpool game out right now, called Deadpool VR. And what can I say? It's okay? I'll start with the pros. The game has an interesting concept in a sense where Deadpool gets captured by Mojo, who then assigns Deadpool to capturing villains throughout Marvel Universe for Mojo's entertainment. There is a good variety of levels, goons, and bosses to defeat, and the game will last you more than one evening unlike most VR games. It also surprisingly adds a lot of customization, where not only can you upgrade your katanas and pistols, but you can also change your Deadpool to a different Deadpool, and that will change voice lines as well, which I did not expect, given how much Deadpool talks in this game. Now here's where the cons come. I won't lie, The amount of dialogue in this game is pretty staggering. We live in an ADHD era where every time I get bored in a video game or a cutscene is taking too long, I just pull out my phone and start listening to something else on the side. Or have a snack, or a drink, I don't know. But that sort of thing won't work in VR. You gotta sit in that helmet, stare at these NPCs, and listen to all this dumb mumbo jumbo. Like bro, I just wanna go out and destroy stuff, stop talking. Added to that, for some reason they hired Neil Patrick Harris to play Deadpool.
Say things went bad when S.H.I.E.L.D. tried to stiff me on a job I did for them a while back. And not stiff me in a good way, if you know what I mean.
Wow, what happened?
You can read all about it in the Deadpool vs. S.H.I.E.L.D. trade paperback. Go look it up.
And I kinda get why. He sounds a lot like Ryan Reynolds, but I don't like this voice. I still would much rather prefer to hear Nolan North's voice from all the other games I've covered today, and that would change my perception of the game a lot, given how much the character speaks. Finally, while shooting enemies and throwing stuff at enemies feels really fun, I'll give them that, using katanas feels a bit off and like a bit too heavy, so this is something you really need to get used to. Overall, the game is fun, but in my eyes, it's not on the level of Batman Arkham Shadow, and I believe 2013's Deadpool game was better. And there's that. Leave a comment which game is your favorite to play as Deadpool in, what other characters you want me to cover, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I have a bunch of games and characters I want to cover already from the comment section, and I'll get to them all eventually, but your comment may make it just a bit faster. See you next time. Bye bye.